Just want to make a quick video answering some of the common questions that I've gotten throughout this league about my Spirit Walker build. So, a lot of you have messaged me on PoE2 Ninja. If you're not aware, this is myself currently right now. I've been the top DPS performer for the entirety of this league, and as a result, a lot of you have asked questions about weapon sets, skills, anoint choices, etc. So, I want to kind of go through those um, common questions, and hopefully, this helps you. So in the process of making this video, I realized I've talked way too much. I'm over 30 minutes of content. I'm still going to post it in case the people that really are curious. But this is going to be just a 5-minute quick summary of all the important stuff if you just want to know the basics. So in terms of skill allocations, what we're doing is we are running double heralds on both sets, and we're also running charge regulation on weapon set 1, and that's it. This is all we have available to us on weapon set 1 because we're not using a scepter, because we are running Dance with Death, which requires us to have the offhand empty. Okay, weapon set 2, we're running obviously the other ones, so Elemental Conflux, we're running Trinity, Combat Frenzy, Double Heralds, and we're not running charge regulation. This is going to cost you exactly 240 spirit if you have Diala's Desire, which reduces your Trinity cost to 90. People sometimes ask me if I had mistaken my Uchtred's Omens, because this one is a +2. There's currently a bug. The devs know about this. It's going to be fixed, so enjoy it while it lasts. If you hot swap Diala's to the second best allocation for Spirit Walker, which is inside Primal Bounty for this 6% or 7% projectile speed, which correlates to damage, the initial discount for Trinity lingers if the skill is active, which means essentially that we're getting 10 Spirit for free, and we are free to allocate away Diala. But unfortunately, you do lose the levels, so that's why we kind of accommodate with the +2 here. So this is my configuration. It's a bit of a bug abuse, but hey, it's better. Have fun. Also, don't get mad at me for showcasing this. The devs already know about it. It's going to be fixed. It's very similar to, if you remember 1 or 2 seasons ago, we had a bug with companions. Very similar concept. You could bug abuse the 100 spirit reservation in a couple of number of different ways. The other thing people ask me very often is about skill set 1, skill set 2. You cannot copy a build 1 for 1, especially because I have 1-of-1 pieces already. So all I can do is give you a general guiding principle, which is that you basically want to allocate the maximum amount of attack speed whichever way possible. So because this means that you could have some of these nodes allocated via your anoints or via your megalomaniacs. So the combinations may vary. So, but what you want to make sure is that your weapon set 1 at any point given time, given the gear set that you have, will always calculate or amount to the most attack speed that you can get on a tree. So all you do here is you go to attack speed, you search for that, okay? And then you find out what works for you. Third most important thing on Twister to scale damage, what we're doing is we have to prioritize. This build is not enabled endgame until you get Garokans. When you get Garokans, what this means is that you only try to get to 50% critical hit chance. Any more than this is wasted, as you can see here. And right now I'm testing stuff, so usually I'm at like very close to 50. Everything else allocated to critical damage bonus. That's your multiplier. You can achieve this with the 5 affix jewels available in the season very early. If you're very new to this build, watch my other section as part of this video, or maybe I'm going to make a separate video because this video is already very long. But the first thing that you prioritize is you want to get, even before Rakiatas, I would say, is you want to get a good DPS weapon, which I believe are expensive. So the best in slot is the Ordained Unique Spear because it gives you crazy value for critical base damage and physical damage. If you want to get a comparable rare spear, when I checked a week ago, you have to pay like a 100D premium. So it's not worth it. If you're starting out, your priority number 1, if you don't have Garokans, is to get the Ordained Spear and then try to get to 100% critical hit chance. And the way you do that is by self-crafting a min-maxed, best in slot, mostly deterministic time-lost emerald, and you place it here with resonance. If you don't have resonance, there's like a combination that you can do to spend some points. But this is your first priority. Don't get persuaded to buy an expensive Against the Darkness. No, no, no. Don't do that. Buy this. Get a 100% crit hit chance, and you'll have really good damage. You'll have close to 1 million damage tooltip um, just from this, and you're going to have a fun time. Okay? Don't spend stuff going combo. No, no, no. Just attack speed on weapon set 1, crit hit chance, crit damage bonus, whichever way possible, right? Sometimes some nodes give you the option, like here, you can go bonus, you can go crit. Take whatever makes sense to you so you can achieve that target. If you have Garo guns, it's 50% crit hit chance. If you don't have Garo guns, try to get 100% crit hit chance with this and maybe another timeless here. Again, watch my other video that I'm going to make as a baseline build, but that's the general idea. And just really quickly about defensive layers. So if you see my tree, sometimes I'm allocated max DPS values and I'm taking off Spectral Word and I'm taking off Bestial Skin. You want to be about 55 to 60 evasion rating if you're doing any serious content. So 200 daily or 6-man parties. In that case, you have two options. You can either go the evasion route or you can go the ES route. I prefer the evasion route on projectile builds because energy shield costs a lot of points and you're going to lose quite a bit of damage. What I like to do instead is I get energy shield on the gloves, helmet, boots as base or as best in slot bases, and then I get a nice evasion chest. So aim for a 3,500 evasion chest with resistances, whatever you need, with deflection as mandatory, and then you would simply spec into bestial skin. And you may not need this enhanced reflexes. I was just showing something else part of the video, so I have it selected here. But you would spend 4 points here. So you would drop the damage here, okay? And then you would drop the damage here from the Giant Slayer. And you go 4 points here, 4 points here, and you should be comfortable. You want to be 55 to 60 evasion rating that you're not going to die in Abyss maps. Nobody's going to get mad at you. You can carry maps. All right, guys. So starting with support gem and skill gems. So first off, we have Whirling Slash. This skill always remains level 1. You want it to be the lowest amount of cost. You don't care about its damage. All you care about is stacking the attack speed. And we do that with a unique lineage support gem that gives us attack speed if it's in weapon set 1. So that's why this skill is always set to weapon set 1. And then we put support gems like Rapid Attacks 3 for, again, maximum attack speed. And we don't care about the damage loss. We run Blazing Critical because this is a global attacks gain multiplier or bucket. So when you generate this, when you proc Blazing Critical, it translates to your other skills, especially in our case Twister, which lives in weapon set 2. So it's a global modifier. And I ran Magnified Area 2 here. You can also run Knockback, but I have a different tech I use for pushing enemies with Knockback. I can talk about this later. Especially relevant for running Abyss maps when you have to pull out the rares out of the cloud smoke. Okay, so Twister, this is your main damage skill. The non-negotiables for a high-end build will always run these two. You cannot get away with it. Garokans is just way too strong. Even if you are able to obtain a high critical hit chance, it's just not worth it for the investment. You max cap at 50, and then you get Bifurcates, which means that, it rolls twice, and it also applies twice, which is absolutely insane, right? So we don't spend the skills, even though it's hard as is to scale crit hit chance. We just hit 50. Everything else goes to critical hit. Everything else goes to critical damage bonus. And this, in the tooltip, it says it's your effective critical hit chance is 75%. Because of the bifurcates. So that's quite insane, right? So Rakiatas, obviously this is your pen inverser, which is absolutely insane. Crazy amounts of damage. Everybody knows about this since, last league, even 2 leagues ago? Or is it just last league? I don't remember. But it's a staple. Project speed, which translates to project damage, so you're double dipping. Plus, when you're getting affixes like this, project speed, this translates to damage, right? So it's a very good gem. Elemental Ornament is one of the best attack modifier gems for flat DPS increase. So always run this. And Deliberation. We don't care about speed because we're not multicasting this, casting it once or twice, and then we're moving around, generating more um, slashes with this, and then repeating, right? So we don't care about the slight penalty here. We just care about the damage because Twister is a persistent skill. Um, so Barrage, this is how you empower your attacks. Run this on 1 for the cast time. If I run this on 2, I'm on 3.6 seconds. This doesn't matter, right? You just care about it being able. You just care about how fast you can get for Barrage to proc, and so you just want to minimize the cast time. So we're taking cast speed. We're taking waste for charges to not be consumed with these 2 gems, and then we're increasing the cooldown recovery rate. But then we're also losing cooldown recovery rate, but we're getting two cooldown uses via this lineage support, which is really strong. If you don't play it yet, I suggest you play it. If you have good DPS, this feels really good in maps. Double herald setup, very standard stuff, right? So we're just running mag, damage, pen damage, ailments support, long shot for distance, more damage, and then of course we can't shock, so we instead electrocute for that additional ailment, which has interactions with the yoke, and just in general, additional ailments is always nice. On Herald Device, again, standard mag, and then we have just damage. I have Cold Mastery here, not sure why. This should be pen. Maybe I was playing around with stuff. I think pen is probably better here, right? Yeah, probably put pen here. Cold skills, whatever. It doesn't really matter that much. And then you have your armor break tech. And okay, so Combat Frenzy, right, is our generator for charges. You always have a maximum of 3 charges, unless you invest into power charges, which we are not in this build because they're super expensive. The only times that I would consider it is if I get it as a free third affix on my Megalomaniac, which is very hard to find anyways with 2 perfect stats, yet alone to get a Frenzy addition on it. So I don't really look forward to it. I don't suggest it. We don't really need it. For the damage that we're outputting, when you have a great weapon, 3 is more than enough for any content in this game. 200 deli, 6-man juice, whatever, right? If it was not the case, if I need more damage, of course I would advocate for it. But why do you? The investment is so high, and the ceiling of that DPS is not really necessary for the value gain, right? So those points can be spent elsewhere, maybe defensive layers or otherwise attack speed, which translates on Twister builds to movement speed, etc. So here, yeah, just standard stuff for Combat Frenzy. Run it on set 2. You don't want it to eat up your reservation because we're very limited on 1. We have vanilla 100 spirit, which we get from campaign. We don't have any other modifiers to it. You could get spirit on your amulet. We'll talk about the choices there and the trade-offs. But I'm going to assume that you have 100 if you're following my build. So then, of course, we take it off. We don't need it to live on 2. We're never going to be generating them anyways. Trinity. So this is the one I get the most questions about. So Trinity, I run Trinity in 2. Obviously, you have to have it in 2 because you have to have a way to generate affinity. And so you do that with your main attack skill, right? So in our case, it's Twister. So obviously, we're able to generate affinity this way. So it has to live in weapon set 2. Now, big disclaimer here. So I don't know the definitive answer to this next part I'm about to talk about. I'm just going to share my intuition and my very minimal sample size of testing that I've done. So one of the big major benefits that we can leverage from Trinity is coming from quality, where it says, 15 base with Dialis, we get 21 increased skill speed, while total affinity is over 250. So this is an incredible amount of skill speed, which translates to a lesser attack speed. But it's really good because 25, if you compare it to something like Dance of Death, this is a massive, a big notable, right? So a big notable is usually a pretty massive multiplier. So if you get 25 here, it's a pretty fantastic number. It's what I'm trying to prove here is that 25 is a lot. So the quality that we get here on Trinity is nothing to laugh at, right? Especially when we scale it with Dialis. Oh, the other thing on Dialis is people ask me about this. Trinity costs 100 spirit to allocate, but Diala has a 90% reservation multiplier, which means that if you put it on a skill that has 100 spirit, you will reduce its spirit cost by 90, saving you 10 spirit, okay? So that's how I'm able to, with a perfectly rolled Shrine Scepter, which we have an implicit corrupt of 25 spirit, and we have 15 spirit from the uh, from the um, from the rune. We have 140 spirit, 140 plus 100 vanilla, 240. So that's my 240 allocation, right? So you have 90. So 90 is being eaten by Trinity, and then we have elemental conflux just for more damage. Um, this can work on weapon set 1, just to show you. So conflux comes like this. You have a buff every 10 seconds. It refreshes over a different element. If I was to just quickly show you guys this, what do I have in 1? It's my 2 heralds, right? So if I put this on 1, okay, and I take it off 2, and I go to weapon set 2, right? So I don't have it allocated. Oh. 8-second duration. Okay, I have to wait. So I don't have it allocated, as you can see. Weapon set 2. And I'm on weapon set 2 right now. And you will see here that it's still proccing, right? Which maybe is a bug, right? I don't know. I don't know. Some of these things are very finicky to me. But the way I run it is I put conflux on 2, okay? But I put charge regulation on 1. Why? Because I want the skill speed effects when you have a frenzy charge. That's all I care about, right? This gives me crazy massive movement speed. So we just put this with a boon to levels. You can put anything else here. I'm just trying to get the levels up here. It doesn't really matter. It's not that much of a breakpoint anyways. But this is how I run my skill gems. So once again, just to summarize, weapon set 1 is going to be double herald, right? Double herald. And Comet Frenzy is weapon set. So weapon set 1 is double herald, and this charge regulation. I have 10 spirit left over. You can put clarity somewhere. I don't, because I have spirit flame. If you don't know, you can put gems that cost reservation, generally speaking, but they don't cost spirit if you place them inside your spirit. So all these here, right? 30 spirit, I'm getting them for free. Anyways, this is really known stuff, right? So yeah, charge regulation, weapon set 1, double heralds, weapon set 1, and weapon set 2, we have elemental conflux, Trinity, Comet Frenzy, double heralds. And that should be your 240 cap. I don't see the need for more in this build. There's ways to get more skill points with some additions in 0.5, but like I don't see the value in it. Like, yeah, we can get 60 more if we swap our Against the Darkness for a Spirit Affix of 12, and I have 5. So that's 60. So I can run another 2 Heralds if I wanted to. And like, I've played quadruple Heralds last season. I was the top ritualist. I was the only, like, one of the only ritualists playing Ice Shot towards the middle of the league for like solo farming. And I had like crazy rarity stacking on it too. And I was playing quad heralds. It felt so freaking good. But I don't see the reason on this build. Like, you're just killing stuff so quickly. So going back to finish my thought quickly about Trinity, what I was going to say about weapons set 1. So obviously this is, to continue my train of thought, obviously this is a really great thing to have on weapon set 1, because skill speed will give us more movement speed, and it will just feel even better on Whirlwind Slash. However, in my testing, and don't take it with a grain of salt, and maybe this is a bug, I'm not sure, but when I have Trinity just allocated in weapon set 2, when I watch my affinity grow in the top left corner, and I know I've hit over 250, I see a boon of skill speed, because 20+% is quite noticeable on your weapon set 1. So I do see it kick in, even though I don't have Trinity allocated in weapon set 1. Again, maybe I'm just speaking out of place here, or I'm misinterpreting it with something else. But my consensus is that even if I was to turn off my double heralds in weapon set 1 and find a way to run Trinity on 1, I did not see a benefit when affinity is over 250 where I get the skill speed. Maybe this is a bug. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. All I'm trying to say is it requires testing. But currently, right now, I don't run Trinity in 1. I have more than enough skill speed, and it feels great. Um, and the skill speed boon that I do see kick in makes me believe that this affected this effect from quality is persisting because affinity itself is a global bucket. So perhaps that's carrying through. Maybe it's a bug. I'm not sure. So if you guys have tested this more seriously than I have, please let me know in the comments below. You'll help others as well. About some of the lesser known stuff here. So my spear stab is the one that I use for weapon set 1, so my faster attack speed one. There's a combo you can use. You can use this runes lineage support, which essentially says the skill can gain a 10 combo. And combo is nothing but generated with your other skills. So when I'm using Whirlwind Slash around the map, and if I hit 10 enemies, you can see this number will go up to 10. And when it goes up to 10, it says supported skills, expendable combo in use. Yeah, so you gain when you strike with other melee attacks, right? So Whirlwind Slash is a melee attack. So they expend their combo when used, gaining more area of effect, the Humber area, blah, blah, blah. So this doesn't matter. What matters is this. 25% surpassing chance to gain a power charge when extending combo with supported skills, right? So basically, it's just a nice little generator passively we have available to us where we can have a chance to gain a power charge. So this is what I suggest you run. You can put this on Wind Dancer if you're running Wind Dancer. Depending on your gear set, you may want to drop this, for example. If you're squishy, you can put Wind Dancer. You can run this on Wind Dancer. It will proc just as nicely. But I leave it on Spear Stab 1. And then, of course, if I generate a power charge from this 25% chance, maybe I also get an empowered attack, which is just a nice little passive bonus on the side we have. And then also, as a separate concept, when I'm doing abyssal maps, you guys must already know about the pullout tech. I use my spear stab to push the fucker out of the cloud, right? Because sometimes, like moving around, right, like with Twister, like I one-shot a lot of shit, right? So if I don't one-shot the pit before he arrives, I'll just spear stab him and hopefully pokes him out. And I'll kill him outside for a chance for an L1 of light. And this thing, whatever, doesn't matter. Spook plays a target. And the other stuff here, I'm just purely experimenting. Nothing to copy here, nothing extensive. I mean, I do use spear throw on my main damage sometimes for this thrill of the kill. If I call, so if I see an enemy, like this is just again like min-maxing, right? Like if I see an rare, and then I can quickly kill, I'll kill him with spear spiel, with spear attack, spear throw, and I gain again. It's the global attacks gain, right? So 25 for 8 seconds. It's crazy, right? It's great. I mean, it's not necessary like this build. Like I mean, playing solo, whatever. It's not necessary, but 6-man group farms it is going to improve your clear speed a little bit. So the reason why I run these gems here is because of something called this thaumaturgic generator. This is one of the new passive things you can allocate this league, which is kind of insane. And we'll talk about this in a second when we talk about best anoids, in my humble opinion, okay? But you need that for this. So the more you have synergy between how many you can allocate max, the better, the more charges you gain. So it's mainly to support that interaction. And these are not necessary for the build or anything. Just wanted to clear that up. So talking briefly about the skill tree, it's very much similar to like any ranged projectile build you would play in the previous seasons, especially if you're going on game crit. In my opinion, in my testing, especially this league with a 5 affix time lost, this was already the best in slot allocation for the cost of 2 jewel sockets, where you place a time lost combined with a resonance allocator. It's still the best value after the changes that they've made to the tree. Before, if you guys remember, we had some better interactions with the gem here, and I believe there was a season where we had socket here as well, but this remains the best in slot, okay? Um, because you not only are getting so many points reserved, you're also getting it from the extra large radius, right? So it is very good. So in terms of gear progression, and I'll talk about this later, but this is one of the first things you want to do is you want to get a perfectly rolled time lost, which is very easy to craft this league deterministically with a couple of 50-50 gamba that you can win. And you get this allocation here, okay? So yeah, self-explanatory, right? At this point, all we're doing is we're just looking to um, or general notes that I can help you guys with, because you can never copy someone's tree one for one if you don't have like the same gear. But the general idea of this build is, if I can give you a guiding principle, it is that all you want to do is, where is my twister here? All you want to do is find a way, whichever way, whether it's critical hit chance on your jewels, right? Like this, critical hit chance, okay? Or your critical hit chance on regular jewels that are sitting in your sinister sockets from the voices, the new unique voices, right? Or it's through your or it's through jungling your tree, right? Like for example, cooked, you can go right side or left side. Right side's critical chance, left side's damage bonus. Whichever way you attain it, I want you to obtain 50% critical hit chance max, okay? Because with Garokans, this is what we're maxed at, okay? And if you get anything more than 50, you're wasting points. Make sure you're as close to 50 as possible. Even I'm at 51 right now, so I was probably playing around with some stuff before this video. But you want to be at 50, and then everything else which has a suffix that can roll crit chance or crit damage, you put into crit damage, okay? So this is how you scale the crit here, is 50% with Garokans, you hit the max, you have Rakiata, it's giving you crazy inverted values against Elemental, you're doing massive damage, and then you're also just scaling critical damage bonus from there, okay? This is why early in the league, one of the first things I rushed was a Mirror Spear. This was built by my friend. This is not that Chinese streamer. I forgot his name. People were saying if it's his spear. It's not his spear. It's this other guy. He's Loki. He made a really good profit early this league with selling slip strike vests, and he had a couple of other amazing strategies. Really smart guy. He was able to craft this for how many mirrors did he say back then? So when I bought this, mirror full cost was like 16, 15 week one. So he probably spent like 4 or 5 mirrors divining it, because it's not easy, right? To get, because he's adding the extra suffix. I think this is the best in slot. The only upgrade from here is if you were to create the base yourself. So if you were to buy the mirror base, roll the perfects, roll the T1s just like this, and then you would have the base. It's not a mirrored base, and then you were to fish sanctify this, right? If you were to fish sanctify with locks, I mean, this is like crazy territory, right? You're talking about mirrors upon mirrors of currency, but it happens every league. It will happen this league. Somebody will bypass me if they do this. You just basically fish for a +5, whatever, right? And then whatever other things you can get, like critical damage bonus, override, critical hit chance. I mean, you're going to be fracturing this, but if you wasn't fractured, you were possibly going over with this, attack speed over with this, and that's kind of the only upgrade that you can make at this point is sanctifying the base itself. But this is not. I'm totally happy to play a league with a mirror weapon, and then I'm out. I'm not. I'm a min maxer, but I'm not a crazy min maxer to that extent. I know my limits, so to say. So, yeah. So on the tree again, follow my tree. It's pretty min maxed in terms of like for your weapon set 1, you want maximum allocation for attack speed. If you notice here on my POB, even right now I have stimulants anointed. I had switched it up now because I switched to a new amulet. This is the best in slot progression, by the way. Is if you're trying to upgrade from yoke, you want to go to a 2 allocate base, and you want to basically pick any 2 allocations that are best in slot for the build. I'll give you a list of my 25 choices, but they're pretty standard to 5. If you just spend 15 minutes in POB and you look at your build, or you look at my build, and then you sort by most DPS allocations, there's only a handful of them that are really really top tier, right? Things like this, right? Barbaric strength, the critical ones. What is the other one called? One-handed critical damage. So pushed advantage or something like this. Yeah, pushed advantage is really good. Sundering, I don't know. Sundering is okay. Kite runner is really good. Like whatever. Like just search around. Oh, by the way, if you want to search for annoyance, I've built a tool. Let me just quickly do a self-plug, shameless self-plug here. If you go to this URL here, civilian GitHub slash PO2 unknown checker. Basically, if you uncheck this, you can search for stuff. So I can put critical damage bonus. Now keep in mind that my search is really, really stupid. It's not fuzzy search, so I have to fix this. It's one of the things I have to do, but it's how I scraped POB. So I have to do like this crazy increase, right? But if you just put critical damage bonus, for example, if you put critical damage bonus, you can just quickly see the lists of stuff that's available to you. So what I like to do is like if it's a new league and I refresh the tool and I'm not sure what's newly available, I'll go, like 40% increased. And then I can see, okay, so at 40, it's javelin and it's pushed advantage. Okay, nice. What's giving me 35? Nothing's giving me 35. What's giving me 30? Headshot, right? You see what I'm saying? It's just a nice way to search. You can search in POB2, but I like this better. That's why I build the tool. Okay, so check it out. Give me a star if you have GitHub, please. Helps me out. Okay, so that's a little bit about the tree. So yeah, what you want on weapon set 1 is the best value. So just do a basic. If you're not following my tree 1-for-1, do a basic calculation, right, of what's going to give me the most attack speed and take those nodes in priority. So if you can find a combination that gives you better than what I have aligned, because you have something anointed on the gear or whatever on the amulet, then switch it around. Like it's not a set in stone. Just remember the guiding principle is simple: more attack speed and 1% 1. That's all you're chasing. And whether you get some of these on the annoyance, on skills, on passives, whatever, shuffle it around, right? Because you can get it on Megalomaniac. Like you can get a really nice, juicy Megalomaniac with stimulants and I don't know, critical, maybe barbaric strength, right? It's a very fucking mirror chase Mego. But if you get that, then obviously you don't get it. You don't path because there's no point to path, right? That you would path something else, like here, 6% attack speed plus all these. Um, this one is insane, right? Damage and attack speed. So that's why I anointed it, because I want to double dip on a weapon set 2, right? But you can take this. Anyways, you guys get the point. I don't need to babysit you on this. So you understand that this is meta. This is the critical meta. This has been the critical meta with bows last league. It's the same thing now. This is the best in slot. 100% tested, qualified, approved. Here, against the darkness, still best in slot because of the +4/+4, but you can also not sanctify. You can corrupt these for 5/5. So it still remains based in slot. You could do a time lost here, but because we are so deprived on skill points, we're not going to do that. And because we have a 5 affix Heart of the Well this league, and because we have a Voices this league, and because we don't really benefit from some of these companion nodes because we're not stacking the companion mirroring of damage, it's not best value, right? Is what I'm trying to say. So if you want to do a time loss jewel, I did the math. It's not worth it. So just one time lost here against the darkness here. Okay. If you can't afford against the darkness, go for 2 time losts here. Okay, and then take this, and then take this. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can take another. But the problem is it costs 4 points, right? Yeah, so you would take with this, and then you would go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you would go 1, 2, 3 for this for sure, and then 1, 2. So 7 more points, and you have 7, 8, right? So you have 8 allocations. So that's another way to get crit hit chance if you're missing it. All right, and let's quickly talk about defensive layers. So oftentimes you'll see in my tree that I'm very much DPS centric, which is a lot of questions I've been getting is like, how do you sustain survivability? Because oftentimes in PoENinja, you'll see my profile. So there's something like this, yeah, where I'm taking, yeah, sometimes I even take Spectral Ward off, and I prioritize more damage. So we take this node, and then I can take Giant Slayer down here for 4 points, and then for 3 points I would take Coming Calamity. So that's maximum DPS build. Do I run this build? Yes, I do. I run this build when I play solo, when I push solo, when I do some services through TFT. This is the build I would run because it's lower level maps. Anything that's under 200 deli, I'm totally comfortable. That might not be the case for you. I don't know what your defensive structure looks like. It really depends on the chest that you're running. So here, this is actually a 1 of 1. It's so Thaumaturgic Generator is one of the must-have chase annoyance for a top-end build, just because it gives you that passive generation of frenzy charges and other charges, right? So if you see here, see these frenzy charges here, right? This passive generation is coming from this. If I consume that, or I let it expire, you'll see that I'm not generating any charges passively, obviously, because I don't have any way to generate it. The only thing we can generate charges with without this passive is Combat Frenzy, right? But this only happens when you perform one of these three actions. So we need some kind of passive sustain. And one of that sustain, as I showed you, the combination here through Spear Stab, or if you put it on Wind Dancer, that's great. But this is just such an amazing skill because it happens quite frequently. So watch here. So there we go. There's one charge, two charges, right? So about roughly every 5 seconds, I'll have a charge, right? And it's going to prioritize a stat which you have most of your support gems in relation to their strength, dex, or int bucket, right? So obviously, if we want more frenzies, we're going to prioritize and have a higher support gem configuration that gives us dex. But if we were to take out some of these dex nodes here, so that intelligence becomes the main stat by 3 points. In theory, this should mean that I'm more consistently generating power charges. See that? Now, that's not to say that you don't generate power charges. So there's like a fine balance, and I haven't found the fine balance yet. Because what I want is I want the consumption to trigger on charge regulation, right? To consume on charges because it's so powerful. So I prioritize movement speed, and because we already are starving with frenzy charges because we use it for barrage, that's why I think having more frenzy charges is best. And then the occasional power charge that you get, I mean, why not? You can benefit from the endurance charge or the power charge here, but we don't need crit hit chance because we're already at max with Garokans. But if you're not, this is one way that you can kind of reach that ceiling as an option, right? But this is just to explain to you how the mechanic works. And so, if I'm playing hard carry and I'm playing full party and I'm playing for full juice content, whether it's Breach or Abyss, of course I'm going to take Spectral Ward, right? Because I don't want to, like, I need some defensive layers here. So what I've noticed is with the new kind of evasion system, deflection system, what you want to look for to be really comfortable is you want to be 55 to 60. 60 is really comfortable. If you're 60 buffed, you can stand inside the pits and you'll be fine for the most part. If you have some ES to tank a couple of hits. Of course, you're going to get occasionally one shot, but 60 is like super comfortable. So you can achieve this, by having a really high evasion rating on your chest, which you can see here. I've opted to use one of the legacies, and you're only limited to one, Fox Shade, on this chest base, but that's because I had to spend a prefix to allocate this, right? So I sacrifice a crazy amount of evasion to anoint this. So to overcome that, I'm anointing increased evasion while in full life. So that kind of equates me to like to bring that stat back. Because otherwise you would probably run something like you see a lot of people running stats. Stats is good too. But I mean, the only stat we care about that we can't get is intelligence, because when we try to level Trinity, it's intelligence. Sorry, Trinity is hybrid. The only one that's not hybrid is this one, right? Elemental Conflux. But at level 18, we achieved that with 137. I think it's fine. And that's why I'm choosing to get a little bit of attributes as my last suffix. I really don't need the traditionally you want T1 res, right? But because I'm running Bismuth on my Mage Blood, I am very, very easily res capped. So another thing about Mage Blood, and I don't know if people know about this, but this has been completely mind-boggling me how it works. People don't understand this. So Mage Blood offers you a legacy. A legacy is by itself cannot stack as is, right? So if you have 2 silvers, that does not mean you have 60% increased skill speed. Because think about it like this: instead of legacy of silver, think about it like allocates. What's a good example? Allocates skill trinity. If you have 2 allocates skill trinity, it does not give you some innate value. As long as you have 1, you have the skill. There's no value inherently from having 2 of those. They don't stack. The only thing that matters is this line here. Mage legacies have X% chance per duplicate mage legacy you have. So what does that mean? So that means that in my case, if I want this configuration, if I want 3 specific affixes, if I prioritize skill speed, which we should, because it's best in slot for, like, this is our movement speed and this is our attack damage, right? Because we're Twister. So I want to prioritize silver. So a non-negotiable, in my humble opinion, silver. And then, of course, res, because we're running uniques here and there, right? But this is questionable. So this could be gold if you're like rarity, but I'm running with a rarity bot. And then I have a whole separate kit that I run solo for rarity. This is like a different topic altogether. So let's say, for sake of argument, this is like second best. And then third is damage, right? So let's say these are the 3 you want. It makes absolutely no difference if my 4th affix is silver, bismuth, or sulfur. So as long as I have 1 that mirrors a copy of 1 that I already have, they will all have the same effect end of the day. So to demonstrate that to you, if I show you my Mage Blood here, this Mage Blood is double res, double gold, right? But the way it works, the way the formula works is it's the same as if you were to have 3x of gold and 1 of bismuth, or vice versa. If you have 3 of bismuth or 1 of gold, it's going to be the same value. Does that make sense? So you can actually search for these combinations and buy the cheaper one, because a lot of the times people are trying to specifically look for triple gold and a single bismuth, but they don't realize that this is the same exact value, same exact numbers that you get, because all it's doing is it takes the distinct value of each legacy and then it adds on top whatever percentage per duplicate. So because here I have 2 duplicates of each, that's 2x.5 times the base. So, and it's the same thing if you have 3 gold, right? Because it's 1 distinct and 2 duplicates. As long as there's 2 duplicates, those 2 duplicates get applied to all of the other affixes or all the other legacies. So 3 gold, 1 bismuth, or 3 bismuth, 1 gold, or 2 gold, 2 bismuth is all the same thing. I just want to make that clear, okay? So, and lastly, you want to hit 60% evasion, and you can do that by sacrificing some damage, and you want to come here, okay? You want to come here and get this. Be still skin if you're evasion-based armor, but if you're energy shield, maybe you go get, I don't know, patient barrier or something, patient barrier, or I don't like ES too much on projectile builds because you have to get all these nodes and you're really starting to lose damage. This is okay for me, right? 4 nodes, 100% evasion armor. If I'm playing super risky content and I can't afford of dying, and my rarity bot's going to get really mad at me and call me a noob, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come here and take out some damage and spec into this. Okay? And then 55, and then what else am I missing? 55, and then 58, right? So I think I can get to 60 with the buffs. Should be able to get 60, 59, 60 with the buffs. Well, you get the point. So you want to be about 55 minimum to 60 if you're doing hard content, and then your group is not going to get mad at you. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to end the video here. I know I promised a section on the starter build. I'll probably make a separate video on that if there's interest. If there's not much interest, I'll just share Mobalytics or the other provider for build guides. I'll share like just a text version. All right, so thanks so much. If you have more questions, just let me know in the comments below. Cheers.